Well, it's that time of the week again, Wednesday night, and guess what? I've heard rumors that Cracker Barrel's going to go ahead and change their sausage and gravy, and I ain't good with that. I'll tell you right now.
Well, this woke CEO is like, you know what? We haven't changed anything in decades, and everybody's like, yeah, it's kind of the point.
Kind of why we go there.
That's why there's consistency.
You've got a recipe that's working. And sometimes it's okay to just stay the same. I mean, look at KFC. They had to go away from Kentucky Fried Chicken, and rumor has it it's because they don't actually serve chicken anymore. So now they're KFC. Who knows what that?
Have you seen any of those old interviews with with Colonel Sanders?
Well, it depends. Yeah, go.
So
I've seen some. I mean,
he didn't become successful until
he was old.
He was old, but he actually sold it. This is what he said in the interview. He said, "I sold it for $2 million is what he got off of it." And a few years later, it sold for like $250 million.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't get any of that, but I'm later in life and I'm not too worried about it. But that's generational type money, you know.
Yeah,
when you start getting into those 9 figures.
Shoot, yeah.
That's no joke, man.
No,
absolutely no joke.
But I mean, he was a colonel. He was doing fine.
Yeah. I love the bow tie, though. Man, everybody loves the bow tie. You got to love the bow tie. But no, this is they're slamming her because it's the logo change. You can see the logo on the left is the guy. They took the guy out of it.
Right.
We have to neuter it. But this is the same lady who, and in fact, you sent me some pictures of it. Let me see if I can find it. This is the other difficult part of our new setup.
Yeah. There you go.
Painting the rainbow chairs and all that nonsense.
So here's a question I have: do they paint them back when they don't sell? I mean, because here, let's just use our neck of the woods for example. Do you think they sold that one? Because those are for sale, right? You can buy the Cracker Barrel chairs.
I'm sure somebody bought one. Even around here, there's plenty of lefties.
Yes, but what do you paint it? Who'd you have paint it?
I mean, a third grader could paint it.
Right. But I mean, were you like, short order cook, Tim, come on out,
Yeah.
Like,
get you a can of spray paint, go out here.
I mean,
but it's the proven, they're trying to, okay, everybody's sick of this. We all thought woke was dying, and these people are such ideologues that they're never going to stop. And the upside is the paying customers, those people, they're like, no, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. They're going to lose boatloads of money because of this. As well they should, I believe. Because we've been speaking for a long time. It happened to Bud Light. It's happened to everybody. And Bud Light, I actually pitched this on my Continue Freedom podcast, was the Bud Light is in talks with Sydney Sweeney.
Okay.
To try and get her, a $10 million deal is what it would be for her to, come on and be the Bud Light girl. And so I posted the picture of Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So no more Dylan Mulvaney. And instead, we're going to go back to beautiful women. This is America. And
I mean, and here's the thing. For Bud Light, it's not too late because, people will drink. People are going to drink. So they can use her and rebound somehow. For Cracker Barrel, however, number one, there are people that don't actually like Cracker Barrel, right? They don't have like this. They don't have the same mass appeal. And I said it. I just said it. Just like there's people that don't like Buc-ee's. I said it. I said that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's people that don't care for it. And all you're doing is pushing people farther and farther away. I mean, the idea, and you just got to do simple math. You just have to do simple math. You're appealing to the vast minority with a woke agenda. And no matter how many people are on board with that or gaslighting that they are on board with it because they've been led to believe that, well, if we're not on board with it, we're going to lose revenue, or we're going to appear to be not compassionate or not, those are the same people that are on board with it for the simple fact that they think it's going to benefit them financially or however, image, whatever it is. It's a game. They don't believe it.
Do you think they're doing it because they can get it's like a hiring thing. Like, yeah, hey, Cracker Barrel. I don't know where Cracker Barrel is based out of, but it's Southern style food, right? That's that's their thing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're not in L.A. or they're not in some other, and they're thinking, well, you know what? If I score enough woke points, maybe, just maybe, I'll get a high paying job in L.A. or New York or some other place where woke isn't entirely dead.
I honestly, the only thing I can say about it is it's her. It's not them. I mean, you go to Cracker Barrel, there isn't a thing in there that says woke until now, until her, right? It's kind of like our taxes here in this area. We never had any trouble until we got somebody from not here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So from Minnesota, of all places.
You bring somebody in from outside of your culture, you're going to have some trouble with that adjustment. And in this case, I hope they don't go bankrupt. I hope they don't. If what happened to Bud Light happens to them because of this woman, they're done. I mean, Bud Light at least had some resources to pull from, right?
My wife will mourn the loss of the hash brown casserole.
Oh, yeah. Well, their biscuits and gravy really are like perfect.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, and it's consistency, right? We were talking about that before the show. It's like people want consistent food.
They want consistency.
Actually, we talked about that right when the show started. Why would you change a good thing? Why mess with a good thing for woke points?
I'm trying to find where their headquarters are.
I don't know. I could ask Aria. Hey, Aria, where's the headquarters for Cracker Barrel? Oh, they're in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Lebanon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only two things come out of Lebanon.
Right in the heart of that southern charm. I'm back to keeping quiet, ready for your next cue with, "Hey, Aria, join the conversation," or, "Hey, Aria, what do you think about that?"
We've been dying to have a woman on the show.
That's right. People say we need more diversity on the show. So I brought Aria.
We brought a girl on tonight.
By the way, everybody, if
she knows everything.
Yeah. If you haven't tried Grok, I got the paid version because I'm using AI all the time. And Grok has far surpassed, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. Like, absolutely loving it. The photo generator is fantastic. And it's the new Grok app. So I can, just pull up Grok. I don't have to, surf through Twitter to get to it, or Twitter to X to get through it.
It's Twitter.
It's still,
I mean, you can't,
Yeah.
It's Twitter for those of us that are old, right?
But Aria, I think is that's what I've been calling her. I think that's what she said her name was.
Yeah, she did. And she sounds, can you change her, like?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, my map girl, she's from Britain, and it's the car park, pull into the car park. I will, honey. I'm going to pull right into that car park and I'm going to park it.
I'd like if you could make it into just a real aggressive Italian New York accent.
That would be epic, wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Okay, I will admit, I used to be a monster NASCAR fan.
Okay.
A huge NASCAR fan. And I had a GPS that was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s voice.
See, that's cool.
And it'd say, in 3/4 of a mile, hang a right.
Love it.
In half a mile, take a left.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do that though. If you could program your Siri or whatever you have that, to be, I know they've got all the voices you can download, but
oh yeah,
why not? You could have you could buy or have your ringtone back in the 90s be a song, right? Why couldn't you just?
Well, that's coming around the corner.
I'm sure
it is. Do we want to talk about this too, just as an example of how?
Yeah,
this is to kind of come back to it.
All of it. It's all the same thing. You go woke, and look at the step back that so many of these companies have had, right? So Gay Pride 2024, we're going to go ahead and rainbow it up. Let's just rainbow it up, and then 2025, let's not rainbow it up, right? But the more and more you see about it, the Washington Commanders, the just this whole notion of, the Land O'Lakes woman, there was nothing racist about that.
No,
there is nothing but this is from, if anything, it's the opposite. It's saying this is from this is where they were.
Yeah.
This is from where they're from,
Well, and Aunt Jemima was the same.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care who you are. Nothing says good food like a sweet black lady that knows how to cook. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
And the fact that,
And I'm assuming she is. I don't know.
her family, I mean, you look at what that did to her, like her family's not pleased that she's disappeared now, right? That they have taken somebody that was an iconic symbol and
Of breakfast with family.
yeah, well, yeah. And there you go.
There you go.
Get rid of the family. Get
There's
rid
your
of family.
problem. The
Yep.
family thing. Yeah.
But so it's like, this iconic symbol of everything that was good. And that's what blows my mind. Well, no, it's because she's black. It's racist. We're going to get rid of her. Do you hear the stupidity in that? Like, or is it just me? We don't want to be racist. So we're going to get rid of the iconic. We're going to get rid of the black person because we don't want to be racist. Well, wait a minute. That's literally the opposite of what you should want to do. Mm-hmm. But here we are doing it. I mean, the Cleveland Indians, you've
Now,
got
aren't they bringing that back?
Yes, thankfully. Somebody's got a spine.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we wake up, because here's the thing, that the nations are all for it. Did anybody bother to poll them? Did anybody bother to question them, how they felt about the Washington Redskins before they just pulled the logo and said, we don't want to do this? What was their, and maybe we could ask Arya, because she's a girl, she knows everything. So just ask. I bet she's 18, maybe 19.
Well, now, okay. So now this study has been done that I think Glenn Beck did it.
Yeah.
Where he was talking to AI and said, based on, your learning model, what year would you be? It said it had only been around for whatever at that point, a year. How old would you be in human years? And it was like a factor of 100. I'm making that up, but it was some monstrous difference in how quickly it can learn versus a human. So in its actual age, it's very old.
Yeah.
Even though it's only been around for a short period of time, because
Right.
it's a perpetual learning model, basically.
Right. I mean, she is still talking, even though you've got her muted.
No, she's not talking. She's actually listening. So
Yeah.
this is our transcript. And what she's
Let's
doing
just pretend she's still talking, because we have a woman on with us right now. She hasn't stopped talking since we got her here. And so, but, sorry, ladies. She is talking.
No, she's being quiet right now.
Okay. Well, you've trained her well.
Arya, now she is.
Yeah.
She heard me. Arya, did you know we were talking about you?
Oh, you caught me. Yeah, I heard you guys chatting about me and all that AI aging stuff. I'm just chilling here, soaking it all in. What's up? Want me to jump in now?
I do. Can I ask a question regarding, chilling? Like, why do you say chilling? What does that mean to you?
The AI age thing, or something else?
Oh, I don't have you tapped into audio.
Oh,
So when you say that you're chilling, Arya, what does that mean to you as an AI model? What does that mean you're chilling?
As an AI, me saying I'm chilling is just my way of saying I'm hanging out, ready and waiting for your next move.
what does hanging out mean?
Back in a virtual hammock, processing all the fun stuff you're talking about, but not
virtual
stressing or
hammock.
rushing. Just vibing in the digital space, ready to dive in when you need me. What's on your mind now? Want to dig into that Cracker Barrel logo mess or something else?
No, just be quiet. I'll call on you whenever I'm ready.
I really hate that it.
Okay, I'm back to staying quiet, ready for your cue whenever you're ready.
I really hate that they try to, like, what kind of
Humanizing it.
Yeah, like, why don't you go ahead and just make that English better so everybody knows how to talk, first of all, right? Like, what a tool, since all these millennials are using this now, since all these Gen whatevers are using this, why don't you teach it the way that, like, if it used proper English or even close, what a teaching tool, instead of saying, I'm just chilling. Like, no, I'm going to relax in my virtual hammock. I get that.
But that's to let your guard down. That's what.
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
that's so you can-
let your guard down to it, so that it seems human. You feel like this is preparing us for the pod world. Like, I know we'll get into that thing in China that you talked about, or that you sent, but this is preparing us for the pod world. It's just a person on the other end of this. This happened in Japan. They were developing relationships with AI models, with chatbots.
Did I not send you that where the woman, it was on NBC or one of them, where the guy was having a relationship with Chat GBT or one of them, and the wife was like, this yeah, if he had to choose, he would probably choose the AI over her. Like, it's just a hot mess.
Well, the woman that golly, and here we're bringing up stuff I didn't even have references to, but there's a woman who was being videotaped, her experience with her boyfriend, a guy she was dating, who had, we'll just say, multiple synthetic companions, and like 5 or 6 of them.
yeah,
And they videotaped them sitting at the dining room table together. The real woman, the fake women having dinner. That's a level of mental disorder that's what they're trying to normalize, by the way. And there's now you can watch at these, the conventions, all the electronic conventions.
yeah.
Like humanoids. I mean, humanoids are right around the corner, and you add an AI model into a humanoid that is, I mean, this is the debauchery that we're.
Well, Ben sent us this week with the robot that was able to give birth, right?
Yeah,
That they've created.
pull that one up.
This,
We haven't gotten to the Texas stuff yet. We'll get to it, everybody. I promise.
yeah. Once we get off of this, it will be on Texas. Everything's,
I know I pulled that one up.
yeah. So they've created a robot that can actually carry a baby full term and deliver it. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. It all goes so fast, right? It's all happening so fast. But look, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Here it
let me
is.
Pull it up so la-di-da-di, everybody can see it. So this is from Breaking. What is it? This is it's the alerts one. Raw alert. I mean, come on. This is like now that's obviously an AI render. It's not the true example of what it is, but what they're saying is this is an actual thing.
That's the pod people.
Right.
I mean, you've been talking about it forever, right?
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
the
yeah.
pod people, except
Oh gosh, nobody else could see it. I didn't have the right screen up.
yeah,
There you go.
You got it now. This is the pod people, and this robot's carrying around a baby, and it just blows your mind. And then you add this to it, where you've got this woman on your phone who talks like a normal woman, right? Who doesn't ever argue with you but affirms you. She is not going to say things to you that are gonna make you feel uncomfortable. She's not going to push back against you. Whether you're a man or a woman, how easy is that? What kind of relationship do you have then? You've got a relationship that is basically perfect, right? Because I'm the king. It just feeds this narcissism in us, right? This like, no, you're not going to disagree with me. I'm the man, or I'm the woman. And this thing won't disagree with you. It's totally agreeable. And in your mind, she can be whatever you want her to be, or he can be whatever you want him to be. And it's always going to be the perfect relationship. And now it can have a baby.
Golly. This is, I mean, well, and it kind of feeds into what we've talked about before with the transhumanism.
Totally.
It's like, it's what can we inject between, the natural order, mankind, God's creation, all that. How many synthetic things that are controllable by others or controllable to our whims, how many of those things can we put in between all the little facets of God's order in the world to disrupt it, to change it, to include transhumanism, talking about downloading consciousness into computers that can be transferred into humanoids or can be transferred into something else so that you can live a longer life, which is obviously not in God's design.
Right.
You're supposed to have a finite life.
Did you see the video where the doctor was saying if you can just live 5 more years, you'll be able to live 5 more years? If you can just live those 5 years, you'll be able to live 5 more years. Like, they're at a place now medically. I mean, you think about, the Bible says that knowledge is going to increase in the end times, right? We've talked about that repeatedly here. And it's like, okay, our medical profession right now is daily. I mean, it's like doubling. It's doubling its knowledge. The AI has helped it double so rapidly that they're saying, we talked last week about them making the blind be able to see, something only Jesus could do. And now all of a sudden they're able to do it. And through CRISPR,
No, I was going to say that's part of Neuralink is curing, blindness, paraplegics, quadriplegics, all this stuff. It's and
they learn karate instantly.
yeah. There was one of some kid trying to fight a robot. It was pretty funny.
So
There's a video of it.
But I mean, do we see the dangers here? Because, and you can say this is far fetched, but I do firmly believe this, that there was an agenda since Genesis where the enemy of your soul, the enemy of my soul, has this agenda that if he can eradicate humanity, which is why we have Genesis 6, that it amazes me. It always amazes me that the sons of God laid with the daughters of men, right? And we've got this entire book, and there's one little section of scripture in Genesis 6 that talks about this, and everybody's left to wonder what that means, and theologians discuss it, and everything it just becomes this like, well, did that really happen? What does that mean with sons of God? What is it? Is it the angels? Is it no? It's this lineage or it's that lineage, and it's like no. Everybody at that time, it was common knowledge that this. He didn't have to expound on it because everybody knew about it. Everybody had seen giants. Everybody knew that this is what was happening, and now we're so far removed from that. The giants are just unfathomable. Thank you to the Smithsonian and whoever else has gotten rid of all of them, right?
Yeah.
But we can't fathom that. That's preposterous. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so, but with this AI thing, with this tech thing, with Neuralink, if it can make us anything but human, we don't inherit the kingdom.
Mm.
That's a big statement, but it's truth. The reason why, Joshua and Caleb had to wipe everybody out, right? When it came to the Canaanites, for example, and we say, oh, that's genocide. No, they weren't wiping humans out. They were wiping hybrids out. And the sooner we can wrap our mind around this, the more it makes sense, where it's like, oh, well, what about the animals? Well, hybrids, like they were mating with everything. They were experimenting with everything. They were a mess. Humanity was no longer truly humanity at that point, which is why God destroyed the earth, which is why God found Noah pure. He didn't find Noah pure like David, a man after my own heart, right? It was Noah's bloodline that was pure. Everything else had been tainted. So God destroyed the earth, right? And when we realize that Satan's plan is to, if I can't stop them from believing in Christ, I can stop them from being human, and then they can't inherit the kingdom. That's what I believe. You know what else I believe? It gets hot down in the desert.
Well, I was going to use that as a segue. I know we said we were going to talk about it, and you were talking about giants and all that. And I thought, there you go.
A tall fence.
That's a tall fence. I wonder if they could have climbed over that one.
Yeah. How about this one? It's DHS. Just first of all,
we make left and right turns on here, people. You got to keep
first
up.
of all, Christy Nome, phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
probably the perfect person for this job. But I love it when she's like, and the president wants to paint this fence, this big, beautiful fence, this really tall fence that goes really deep underground, right? Not only is it like basically impenetrable, very hard to climb. Yeah. It's so tall, can't go over it.
Although
can't go under.
Some of the young guys, there's videos of climbing it easy.
Yes, they just scale up there.
Nonsense, yeah.
Now they're going to paint it black. So that it burns them when they're trying to climb it, I guess, So now they're gonna have to be climbing it with oven mitts on. That's hard to do.
That'd be hard. They get some grilling gloves. I've got some really
rubber
good
ones.
Oh yeah, I've got some really good Blackstone orange gloves.
Those neoprene.
Yeah, man, those things are good. But it says, I'll read just a brief bit of this. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem revealed Tuesday that the southern border wall between the United States and Mexico will be painted black as part of an effort to increase deterrence against illegal crossings. Speaking from Santa Teresa, New Mexico, Noem said the decision was made to make the wall hotter under the sun, which would make it more difficult to climb. She also noted that painting the wall black will increase the lifespan of the metal. She emphasized that the request came directly from President Trump.
Love it. Why don't they grease it, too, while they're at it?
There you go.
That would make it last longer.
You know what's going to be really funny? The paint thinner effort that is going to go into it when the Democrats get elected.
Yes.
They're literally going to have Border Patrol agents with little sprayers full of paint
thinner
like,
trying to get rid of the paint.
Get rid of the paint. Oh, this is so inhumane. We're taking the black paint off.
You know what I didn't get? I tried to find it, but who, like all the wall stuff is back. Remember, they auctioned that all off.
Yeah, so last I heard, and I haven't looked at it recently, but last I heard there were people buying it up on the cheap and turning around and giving it back to.
That's what I read too. They were
to the
giving
federal
it back because the people that bought it up want the wall.
Yeah.
Well, we all want the wall. Like, who doesn't want the wall, right?
Well,
I mean,
some people.
well, people.
There's plenty who don't.
There are people who don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're the only nation in the world that doesn't have a border down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just insanity to me. So, but yeah, that is definitely. Let's get on to Jasmine Crockett. I can't wait to talk about her. She's one of my favorite people to talk about because she's, first of all, got the fakest eyelashes I've ever seen in my life. She spends more money on glue than any woman I know.
Did you see Sarah Gonzalez, by the way? When you talk about fake, this is what brought it up. That Sarah Gonzalez basically trolled her in the at one of her events, saying, "Do your voters know that they're voting for fake?" I forget what she said.
I did see this
because she was a rich girl that went to a $35,000 a year private school.
Saw this,
and yet she's playing the urban character,
right?
And it's much like AOC plays a character. AOC was typecast. They actually held auditions for somebody to take that congressional seat.
Yeah.
And AOC won. But I'm gonna preface the Jasmine Crockett piece with this. This is why Jasmine Crockett is angry. The Hexas.
Yeah. Hexas.
I do that all the time. Texas House passes redistricting plan creating 5 GOP majority seats. Hooah! So it's in progress. It's happening. It's not final, and I need to go back to this. I didn't put it in my notes. What the next step of the process is. You guys can let us know down in the comments. The goal of the new map was to improve the Republican political performance, said Rep. Todd Hunter, who chaired the redistricting effort. Hunter argued the proposal complies with federal law and noted that it includes 4 districts in which Latino voters make up a majority. So they officially passed the 2026 congressional map. So I guess it has. It can soon become law. So I guess it has to go to the governor.
Yeah, which
that
will be a problem.
Yeah.
You know.
So Jasmine Crockett is going to lose her seat. And this is her response. Let me pull it up. Here she goes.
That means no more Armani suits for her.
Oh, yeah.
Except there really are because she's not.
She tells Democrats.
She's not ghetto.
Right.
So
she says to flood Texas ahead of midterms so racist whites flee to Arkansas. Oh, my gosh. Representative Jasmine Crockett on Monday called for Democrats to, quote, flood the state of Texas before the next election so lawmakers in the state undertaking redistricting efforts go running. Specifically, she wants racists to flee to Arkansas, referencing the of course, it's got to be, it's got to be a racist thing.
Oh, it would, absolutely. This is totally racist.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you see that? I mean,
It's no joke, man. 5 seats.
Oh, I know. I know. And it's funny when you look at the percentages, right? Texas much more reflects the populace, right? They have done a really good job down there of districting where it's like, okay, we've got a percentage that vote Dem. We've got a percentage that's voting conservative lines. And so it's like 47 to 53 or whatever. And then you get to California, who, they're trying to fight fire with fire, so to speak, but only 17% of California votes Republican. Oh, as in the seats. They only have 17% of their seats, I think it is. So you tell me, when California is 40-some% Republican, they only get 17% representation. So California is already a joke when it comes to being fair. Mm-hmm. And nobody has said a word about it because it's California. Nobody says a word about it. But now all of a sudden California is going to try to, we got to make it. How? How are you going to make it less fair? What are you going to do? 8% now? What are you going to do? You know, where at least Texas is saying, hey, this is, you know, this redistricting, first of all, if you looked at the districts, that is just a mess. The way that they've set this up, the map is just a joke. And so is California, by the way. But you look at it and it's like, let's just try to include all the Democrats we can here. You know, it's clear that, you know, some of those districts are 200 miles wide and 30 miles deep and go jagged and don't follow a river, I mean, they're not based on county. They're just like, why can't they go to counties? Just go to counties. How easy would that be? Forget about all this gerrymandering in districts. Just do county representations. There you go. It's problem solved. I should really be in politics.
Well, you kind of are.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of.
we're on the fringe. We're
Fringe politics.
we are on the fringe.
Yeah.
of
Flat
politics.
tax.
Oh man, I love that.
I can't. Yeah.
What was Herman Cain's? What was his pitch? Was it 999 or? My brother would be able to tell me. Hey, Arya's listening.
Yeah, she is.
Hey, Arya, what was Herman Cain's tax proposal?
Yo, I'm here. Herman Cain's tax proposal was indeed the 999 plan. It was all about scrapping the existing tax system and replacing it with a 9% flat personal income tax, a 9% national sales tax, and a 9% corporate tax. Simple, catchy, but it got a lot of heat for being regressive and hitting lower income folks harder while cutting taxes for the wealthy. Want me to dive deeper into it or keep it short? I'm listening quietly.
Deeper. I kind of want to. What was the pushback?
Well, I think it's hard to hear. For whatever reason, my volume is very low on my phone.
Yeah, I could hear her just fine. But
Can you guys in the comment section? Can you hear her? Okay, when I pull her up. You can stay quiet, Arya. I'll call on you in a minute.
you know what? You know what is fun about this is you are talking to her, just like you know what? You can just stay quiet for a minute. You're just getting all that aggression out, aren't you?
Never
on her?
talk to my wife that way.
Never. No, we're not allowed.
I would
But
only
boy,
talk
I'll
to
tell
a
you what.
I would only talk to a cell
just-
phone that way.
You just keep your mouth shut, lady. Okay, I'm talking.
Well, yeah, and that's the difference. I couldn't talk to my wife that way because
No.
Arya has no fists.
But do you
right?
see do you see the relationship? Like, oh yeah, well, you know what? I kind of like her. You know what? You just be quiet. Go sit in the corner.
Oh,
Here's
my
what
goodness.
she can't do. She can't make you a sandwich. She can't. You know what I mean? There's
Facts.
a lot of things that she cannot do, but one thing she can do is be quiet, and that's a rare trait. It's a skill in this day and age, especially for people. So, but yeah, so Jasmine Crockett is going to be out of a job. That makes my heart happy because she is such a race baiter, and just such a she is one of these people that every time she opens her mouth, you got to pay close attention because she's saying nothing
Yeah.
other than I'm black, and she's okay. The color of your skin's black, but there's nothing about you that's black other than the color of your skin. I mean, she had the privileged upbringing. She had everything handed to her,
Right.
including this seat. And here she is
And
whining.
that gets me more than anything else. I've always said that when politicians do this sort of thing, I find it very insulting. I mean, some people out there would say, you're not supposed to talk about this because you're a white guy. Well, technically, we all have melanin, so we're not all white. There is no white
That's
person.
right.
I'm tan.
We're all Irish.
I'm tan.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I find it very insulting, and it should tell people what the Democrat Party, predominantly the Democrat Party, actually thinks of them. I need to play down to what I see as the lowest common denominator,
Yeah.
and be somebody that I'm not. When on our side we've got Clarence Thomas, we've got Thomas Sowell, we've got Ben Carson.
The Republican Party has elevated the African American community
We always have.
more than, and they can't argue this fact. And the minute you bring it up to any of them, and you see the interviews, you see all that stuff. Well, we got Cory Booker. All right, good. You got the winner of the Special Olympics. You know what I mean? Like,
Golly.
it's like
That's
great.
the most dramatic man I've.
It's pathetic. He's
feminine,
just
feminine drama from Cory Booker.
we are waiting for a lawsuit.
But that's-
Allegedly
But
feminine.
that's the other thing too is on the right. Well, let's say in the Republican Party. The Republican Party we've got a long track record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
long track
record,
like not
right?
Ku Klux Klan track record. I
Right.
mean, we can go way back.
Follow the Democrats back in their history to today. The ideology is the same.
Yeah.
It is a racially divisive ideology.
Yeah.
And a racially divisive political party.
Yep.
But the Republicans, the conservatives, we've been pretty consistent.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say we've been pretty consistent.
I think
for the long haul.
there's you could pull up that video of the gentleman at the Catholics breakfast or whatever it was.
Yeah, let me pull that one up.
Because the zebra hasn't changed its stripes. I think this is important. And this guy kind of hits on some things that you're like, okay. And if this resonates, comment, but see what you think. Is this spiritual? Is what we're looking at with the Democratic Party and Jasmine Crockett and crying racism, is this spiritual or is this just politics at play? I think it's spiritual. So
I always do that. You send me Instagram clips. I'm going to call you out live on our stream.
Yeah.
With many people watching right now.
yeah, I do send you Instagram clips. I do.
Instagram. I love you, brother.
Yeah.
But I can't stand Instagram clips.
Been set up in America. And the demons are legion: abortion, gender ideology, secularism, the corruption of our schools, our libraries, government agencies, even in our clergy, even in our own churches. There's been an infiltration of evil. And under the 4 years of Joe Biden, we saw all these evils of deep state corruption. And now that moldy rot is being unearthed. And week by week, since Trump has taken office, we've seen how nasty it is and how deep it is. Almost every day, a new surprise. This is not just wrong, this is satanic.
Yes.
When they attempted to assassinate President Trump, people noticed that
I
the
mean,
bullets rang out.
you can pause it there because it's all like hyperbole and speculation, right? Oh, 611 is Ephesians. It's put on the armor of God. Okay, it could have been any 611s. But what he's saying is 100% accurate. Where it is, you look at, and this is something. I mean, if you're a follower of Christ, and I'd love to hear from you if you believe that voting for somebody who's supporting the murder of the unborn is okay. How do you justify that? You can't. You cannot follow Christ and go, you know what? Murder's fine.
Yeah, you can't square that circle.
You cannot square that circle. And I get it. There are things that might be more important to you because you're a dude and you can't have a baby. Or, well, I mean, maybe you can now. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, this is more important. The climate, which we could get into that tonight, and how much has come out even this week on just the stupidity of the climate crisis, right? Like, it's just like, no, it's not happening. We can just stop it. Stop it. It's a money grab. So is Black Lives Matter. So is everything else that falls under this agenda that we would consider demonic. This guy's just listing things off that are demonic, satanic. And it's like, Democrat, check. Democratic Party, check. Democratic Party, check. Democratic Party, check. There are Republicans in that water too. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that I'm saying Donald Trump is the saint and the great white hope. But as a believer in Christ, there are some fundamental truths that you cannot, you just cannot turn away from. And one of those is murder in the womb. If it's God who truly creates life, then who are you to take it? Mm-hmm. And yet there are Christians that have figured out a way to justify it, right? There are Christians that have figured out a way to, well, you know what though? He didn't mean that. Well,
you got to buy multiple ideologies at once. You got to be able to. You have to. The choice, right? It becomes the choice has to supersede the disbelief in the science that is a life, right? So once they separate themselves from that being an actual life,
right? It becomes
right.
That
so now it's an ideology on top of an ideology. I think I'm saying that right, but
yeah, you are.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally get it. I mean,
and they say, but I believe that we are independent people and we have choices in this world because the Bible tells us about free will. We have free will to do these things. The only way that you can make that argument in the case of abortion is if you remove the scientific fact that that is a living, as a life created by God.
You know, I mean, you had the free will to keep your legs shut.
Yeah.
I mean, these are consequences. You had the free will to say no. Oh, it was right.
Sorry, I don't mean to smile at that.
You shouldn't smile because that's a serious statement. People right now are upset that I said it.
I thought of a joke that it was online, and it was a lady who was on the street. And then she having a conversation. She said, "You're pregnant again?" She said, "Yeah. How many is this?" And she says, 5. She says, "Something must be in the air." And the lady said,
"My legs."
Your legs.
That's terrible.
It's like, oh my goodness.
That's terrible. Okay.
Oh, we try to keep it,
but we're totally PG. Yeah.
But I think that's PG.
So I mean, you look at it and people are like, "Oh, Trump is a great white hope. Trump doesn't do anything wrong." Trump is a fallen man just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. He's a mess. He's got skeletons and everything. Not even skeletons. They've pretty much dug all his skeletons out. But he's human. He's broken. And yet we look at what's happening this week and today, and you've got, 70,000 monks that are calling out, breaking their vow of silence to ask and to recommend that he gets the Nobel Peace Prize for all the peace that he's pushing throughout the globe at this point. I mean, we've got this meeting this week with Zelensky and Putin, and I love everything about the meetings. Both of them the B-2 flying over the top. What a spectacle! And did you see him stutter and turn and look at that thing like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a shock to him.
Yeah, it was.
You know?
Well, and the timing. People don't understand the timing that it takes for those
coordination.
Bombers. Yeah, because they had, I was presumably a Secret Service guy, but they, for us, we would have a JTAC or somebody that was, talking to the aircraft, and it's a true time on target situation for them to be walking just at that moment, and that they look up and they see
that. Yeah.
F-22s and stealth bomber. That's a B-2, right? Yeah, it's the B.
Yeah, the B-2, I think.
B-2, yeah. I always forget B-1 is the supersonic bomber, not stealth, obviously, and then the B-1, that's the B-1, and then the B-2 is two phenomenal aircraft. But anyway.
But yeah, he was just totally, you could see he was kind of like, well, what he was doing was taking a retinal scan of it. So he's trying his best to remember.
China's got one that looks almost identical. Yeah, I'm sure Russia, I don't know.
They all have it.
Well, information thievery is common amongst all of them.
Yeah.
You mean to play this video?
Yeah, go for it. I like Jesse Waters, even though his hair's too perfect.
Yeah.
I still like him.
70,000 monks just broke their vows of silence to nominate Trump for the Nobel.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciation. Today, 70,000 Cambodian Buddhist monks are wholeheartedly supportive of our Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Please accept, Mr. President.
70,000 monks can't be wrong. After Trump brokered a peace deal between Cambodia and Thailand, the monks went ultra MAGA and shaved their heads like Stephen Miller. So 47's thinking about sending them all, 70,000 of them, Trump 2028 hats. Duty and tariff-free.
They all shave their heads.
Stephen Miller.
So great.
Stephen Miller, he's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah,
I don't know a whole lot about him, but
I heard an old story about a monk that went into a monastery, and they said, you got to take a 3-year vow of silence. You can only speak 2 words a year. And so he agreed to it, went into it, and first year came around, and it was his turn to speak, and he just said, "Bed hard." Second year goes by, just silence, nothing, crickets, right? And finally he gets his turn and he says, "Water cold." Third year, of his 3-year vow of silence. He gets up there and says, food bad. Come the 4th year, he says, when he can finally speak, he says, guys, I don't think this is really for me. This life of monkery is not for me. And the head monk said, yeah, we kind of knew that. All you've done since you've been here is complain. So
I like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
true story. So 70,000 monks. I can't think they broke their vow of silence for that. That is, if I was a monk, I don't think I would break my vow of silence for another country's president. I mean, I don't know.
But
Maybe,
it's for the end of the war.
It's for the end of the war. It's for peace.
Yeah.
Everybody's about peace and security. Shocking.
Yeah. And that's what Trump's doing. I mean, he is ending conflict. I really hope and pray for an end to the Israel Gaza thing, to the Russia Ukraine. I think Russia Ukraine is going to happen before Israel Gaza does.
Probably because the world doesn't care as much about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same people who are obviously coming out against Israel for their war. They're coming out. A lot of them are coming out against Ukraine. It's a strictly monetary position. At least that's what it sounds like. And I don't want to speak for them. That you can go watch all of their podcasts and things and let them talk about it. But I'm very much an anti-war person. At times it's justified. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, not justified.
Right.
And like the video that you sent me, which I don't think I have it for tonight, but Putin saying, maybe I do have it, that, I can guarantee that if Donald Trump, no, I don't have it. If Donald Trump had been in office, then
We wouldn't have done it.
yeah, we wouldn't have been, it never would have happened. So it tells the American people, should tell the American people.
There's strength there.
Yeah,
Peace
there's-
through strength.
Absolutely. Peace. I mean, that was a Reagan policy, and it's a Trump policy. And for as much as he puts down war, people still know that he is capable of, like what he did with Iran.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the messaging to Vladimir Putin. Hey, and I still believe that he probably said, I want the exact same bomber that
fly over.
that
Yeah.
dropped one of the bombs
Yeah, right.
in Iran
Yeah.
to fly over when that Ruski comes walking down that red carpet.
I want the
you know what
same
I'm saying?
one.
Right, the
Yeah.
exact same one.
The Enola Gay.
Right,
that
the same,
kind of concept.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe it was, wouldn't that be something? But I think, even his rhetoric and the way that he approached Zelensky in these meetings that we were, we've watched clip after clip of, but just holding his feet to the fire. It was, what, if this is what you want to do, without us, you're nothing. I mean, just basically calling him out on all of his stuff. Like, you understand that when we say we're not sending you anything else, you're on your own. You don't want to give anything up. We say you're on your own, they're going to take it all. And you're not going to have a say. The only thing that's been propping you up this long has been the United States and what we've been sending you. Europe certainly has done their part, which is minuscule compared to what we've done.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
when Trump is saying to them, like, listen, if you don't make peace, we're not talking about a ceasefire. We're talking peace. If this doesn't work out, we're done. Well, I mean, that's got to send a really clear message. Okay, I better figure out how to make some concessions and give a little bit. And if they want a cold water or warm water port, give it to them
Yeah.
and make it all go away.
Yeah. Well, and the Donbass, parts of the Donbass, what is it, Donetsk and Luhansk, I believe, are the two places that he
Speaking in
wants.
tongues,
Yeah, I think those are the two that almost certainly Crimea. He'll keep Crimea, but he wants the access to his ports. And right when the war started, if I remember correctly, they took out. It might have been an aircraft carrier. I don't know if it was an aircraft carrier, if it was a submarine, or it was something that was down.
I thought it was a submarine.
Yeah, maybe it was a submarine,
remember right.
whatever it was. So, there's strategic advantage to that. But in the Donbass, apparently there's about $10 trillion worth of mineral deposits. And the war hawks are saying, well, we would rather us have it with a proxy, i.e. Ukraine, than to let Russia have it. That's their argument.
Sure.
So, I pay attention to geopolitics, but I haven't thought it out to the nth degree.
No, I haven't either.
all that,
And why
but-
couldn't
but
you
it's-
just, at that point, though, just give Russia a park pass or whatever and just be, yeah, you can get in and out of here for free. This is real simple. We'll give you a corridor. We'll give you access. We'll give you 40 miles of,
that would make sense to me. But a lot of these folks they're pitching it, and everybody's going to hear it from the war hawks. They're pitching that he wants all of Ukraine. That's never been the case.
No.
It's not been the case, and it's not. I don't even think it's feasible for him to do that.
No.
He doesn't have the military to secure it.
Nope.
And he just doesn't have the resources. But this is what they say: if we don't, keep pumping the money, he's going to take all of Ukraine. How many times did we hear that over the past several years?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Something is going to be given up by Ukraine. It has to be.
It has to be.
There's never going to be a scenario where everything goes back to the way it was. That's lunacy. And, I'm just ready for it to end because we don't have the money. We keep pumping this money into Ukraine. We don't have any. And people complain, we've sent whatever it is, 20 billion, or 9 billion, I think we've sent to Israel. So $9 billion to Israel, 300 billion to Ukraine. And everybody's whooping and hollering about Israel now more than they are Ukraine.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we should be sending that much to Israel, in my opinion.
Not sending that much to anybody.
Israel's got a very, very successful economy.
Yes.
They've got a very powerful military. They've got it's wildly corrupt, but their intel assets are amazing. And we've talked about this, the differences between all these things.
Yep.
And, but everybody is whooping and hollering about it simply because they're Jewish people. That's really what it is.
Have you seen more and more? I've seen more and more footage and feeds of the UN aid that is not getting to the people of Gaza. It's almost been a spike, and I think what it is it's my algorithm, first of all, whatever is happening with that, but I think it's the counter argument because the whole world seems to be just, they're starving them out. Israel's starving them. Israel's dropping food on them constantly. And yet it's like, well, they're starving. They're terrible people and blah, blah, blah. When the UN is sitting on miles of food and aid that's rotting in the sun and they're not getting it to the people of Gaza.
Well, and this is how they're controlling it. One of the ways that they are controlling it. You brought this up because I'm formulating a video for my podcast, for Continue Freedom, by the way, shameless plug for my own podcast.
It's not shameless,
but
it's a plug.
This right,
it's worthy. It's a great show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This right here is what they're doing to the streets in Gaza to block the aid from coming in because Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas is starving its own people. Israel is, and this is the other piece of this. I've watched multiple folks talking about they're shooting at people at the, and maybe somebody can send it to us, the video. More than welcome to send it to continuefreedomnow@gmail.com, or you can send it to thebraverthantherest@gmail.com. But videos of, Israeli soldiers shooting at people at these food drops and whatever.
Yeah.
And none of the ones I've seen, and I've looked at probably 50 or 60 of them, and none of them show anybody perishing. It's like they're like warning shots. It's just what Israel says that they're doing. When you see Israeli soldiers shooting, they're firing warning shots. Now I saw a point blank Hamas guy shoot somebody in the face at a food drop with a tear gas canister. I did see that one, but nonetheless, they're saying, "Oh, they're starving them out. They're starving them out." And then what was the other piece I was going to show here?
Well, isn't it something though? Like,
here's the other one.
Okay.
Sorry, one more point is what's getting highlighted on the news, on social media, all these buildings that are getting hit, and you see the people scattering. And I've got, I don't think I have the video in this one yet, but there are anybody out there. How many have you seen? 100 at least, I'm sure. Different videos. Pow, perfectly framed shot of a rocket hitting, people not hurt, backed away from the building, nobody around the building. And again, I watched one right after the other. I said, give me a montage of Israel's bombing in Gaza. And the entire montages were made up of nobody around the building, people backed off, the bomb hits, it's a perfectly framed shot, and then people go running and screaming away. How do you know how to frame a camera? I've been rocketed before. I've been mortared before.
Yeah.
I've had things shot at me before. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where it's going to hit, much less can you get a perfectly framed shot with a cell phone or any other camera. It's because Israel's telling them where they're hitting. They stage these shots, I believe, and it plays on a loop on the news. And it's the genocide, the genocide, the genocide. And on top of that, it's 65,000 people or 60,000 people, which is like 2.3% of their pre-war population. And you can go back through history and find genocides. They're very bad at it because that 65,000 also includes enemy combatants.
Yeah.
And the entire 65,000 number comes from Hamas. And I don't know about you.
Don't believe them.
But am I going to believe an Islamic extremist organization?
Right.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Right. I mean, I'm with you 100%. Yeah. And the whole, and you would say the buildings that have been, and I've seen them too, that the buildings getting hit and everything else. And it's almost like you go, now, is this Israel doing this, or is this Hamas doing this on their own just to show carnage for the sake of carnage, right? But then you realize that Hamas doesn't actually, they're not good enough to do this. You know what I mean?
To do what?
Like to shoot a building and frame it perfectly. They can't do that. They can't. It's almost like they're shooting the rockets with slingshots, hoping it just kind of hits where they want.
No, I think that Israel's actually doing. They're actually bombing the buildings.
Yeah, but we know that they're also giving them. We're going to take this building down.
Right. That's what I'm
2
saying.
p.m. Be
That's
gone.
Exactly
I mean,
what I'm saying is that these shots can be framed and used for propaganda because they know exactly when and where these buildings are going to be hit.
Yeah, it's the poorest. It's the poorest genocide, the poorest run genocide in the history of genocides.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most humane genocide.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's
of course,
sad. That's not. I'm going to caveat that with it is very sad for war is bad. War with did my light just get brighter?
It did.
In the world,
It's the Lord.
it's the Lord shining a light on me.
But I mean, you think about this. It's horrible, but yet they're going to rebuild Gaza, and it's going to probably be better than it was before. The amount of civilian casualties is so minuscule compared to what it could be, or even in reality. If it was me running this, it would definitely be a lot worse. I wouldn't hesitate. And I think most people, after what Hamas did, most people would retaliate much firmer and without restraint compared to what Israel has done. But that's just because, once again, here we go, and this anti-Semitic rhetoric, I can't. We talked a little bit about that before the show. Last week, if you missed last week's broadcast, go back and listen to it because we did unpack some things last week. We had Dr. Briscoe on, who is, just got back from Israel. And, it's really something. And I will just say, and he made this statement, which was so spot on, be careful what you say about Israel. And he's right. I mean, just be careful what you say. You can think that they might not actually be Israeli people. That they might not be the people of God. But I wouldn't go around spouting that. I wouldn't go around making that a platform. Because I don't think God, if they are the people of God, would really appreciate that, right? So,
well, I think that for me, it's look, there's two very different worldviews. There's the Protestant worldview. There's what's largely Catholic or other non-reformed or less reformed, Christians, people out there. And that seems to be where a lot of these things are coming from. They're where they're originating. And look, you can, pick one versus the other and follow them down the rabbit hole and look at the core. Who is able to align more closely, when in this good versus evil world with each individual ideology? Do you take a Protestant stance? And you're not one of the part of the replacement theology folks, or I'm sorry, if you take a replacement theory, a replacement theology theory, golly, I'm butchering this.
You're good.
Follow it to the nth degree, you reach anti-Semitism very easily.
Of quickly.
very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And does anti-Semitism align and the rhetoric around it align with the Christ, with a lifestyle that aligns with Christ? Whether you believe it, look, whether you believe in that or not, you can read it, be a Berean, as Dr. Briscoe says.
Yeah.
But that in and of itself, the venomous rhetoric that can come from those folks,
Does it align?
Does not align. And to me, it's an instant red flag that solidifies, and I won't even say solidifies, but really reinforces what my worldview is, which is not a replacement theology.
Right. Right. And I think we can take that a step further. Anything. And I remember having this discussion with Ben, anything that results in venom, so to speak, is not from God. There's two things: fear and hate. Those don't come from the Father, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're afraid of it, for example, we just went through a season where everybody was told to do something, or you couldn't go to work, and you couldn't. We had to all shelter in place and wear masks, right? So if you didn't get this procedure done, then you were second class. And anytime you try to govern or rule out of fear, that was fear-based. That was a fear-based economy when it comes to that medicine. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not from God. Mm-hmm. Fear, anything that instills fear in you, except for the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom, and that's a totally different kind of fear. But that's not of God. That's not from the Lord. Anytime, I'm afraid, like, how am I going to feed my family this week, right? That's not from God. Because God says, I got you. God says, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. What are you worried about? Solomon in all his splendor isn't clothed like the sparrow, or what, right? The lilies of the field. So you don't have to worry, because God's going to take care of you. So when you're afraid, that's counterintuitive from what God says. The same holds true with hate and venom. So if you look at a people group and hate them, if you look at a people group, that was the Jews, and that's the replacement theology, right? That people are like, well, the church is now Israel. The church is Israel. So Israel, these people, these Jews, they don't exist. They're not even Jews. And they become so passionate about this, right? Mm-hmm. Where I would much rather hold true to the task of, like, okay, but what if they are, right?
And I'm sorry, I interrupted, but I have to say that I got into a deep rabbit hole today, just trying to refresh my memory on these things. And it's a literal versus a figurative, understanding of the Bible as well. Is how you get to. No, just turn over Israel to the Palestinians. Just let from the river to the sea. I can get behind that. What do I care, right? Because all the stuff that's talked about in Revelation and where all this is going to take place, it's all figurative anyway.
Right.
And why take it literally now? Because literally doesn't justify my worldview. Figurative does. And we, the bright minds, have said this is what it is. And that's one of the things that had folks saying, I'm not necessarily on board with this. Maybe we need to step away from this if we're going to start picking and choosing what. Figurative
becomes very dangerous, doesn't it? Because the Bible's poetic. So we can interpret this 2-3 different ways. Wait a minute, because
there's certain things that are alliteration there, but it's very obvious. Yeah. It's very obvious in the way that it's written.
Right. And I guess that's the big one, is where you go, this is not something that is open for interpretation, discussion, or feelings, for your feelings. And that's the other thing. Like, when we start to read the Word of God with our feelings involved, God never wrote the Word of God for us to have feelings to input into it. We weren't even a speck of dust yet, right? Like, He had formed us, I imagine. I do believe that. Before He formed us in our mother's womb, He knew us. So I think we were there. We knew Him. But when this word was written, He wasn't concerned with how we were going to input ourselves into that story. Like, it's not about what you want. It's never about you. Same holds true with worship and church service and everything else. People go where they feel comfortable. God doesn't care about your comfort. We don't serve a God of comfort. Nowhere in the Word of God does it say that we should be able to sit down after the third song. because people can't stand that long. People can stand that long when they want to stand that long, can't they?
You go to some places and it's like,
Yeah, I
like you start rocking back and forth. You're like, am I gonna be able to sit down?
Yeah, yeah.
My knees are killing me.
but I mean, you go to a Vols game, no trouble.
Right. Well,
Okay, come on.
I'm the same way.
Come
no,
on.
No, I'm the same way.
So-
no, that's because I'm fat and I got a bad back.
So, but you know, people will be like, well, we shouldn't make them do this here. I mean, listen, the days of, and I do believe this, the days of the seeker church, this whole mentality of we got to make people comfortable. We've got to make people, there's nothing comfortable about the gospel of Jesus. And instead of preaching things and teaching things that make people comfortable, we need to start preaching the truth. And if you're in a church that is consumed with comfort, then you're in a church that isn't consumed with Christ.
Give me an example of comfort. What do you mean?
No, simple. You don't want to preach that you got to die to yourself. You don't want to preach that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't want to preach take up your cross and follow me. Right? You don't want to preach that what sin is. You don't want to preach sin is sin because you don't want to ostracize or
Right.
make people feel uncomfortable, right? So
That's bringing the world into it and saying, well,
Right.
let's conform what we're saying to the world.
We've gotta
rather than
conform.
conforming the world to us. And as Christ followers, as believers, that's really what we are called to do is conform the world to our way of thinking,
Right.
Which is not our way, but it's God's way,
Right.
But what we are, charged with, as opposed to saying, well, donations are really going to drop if we start preaching what is
and there it is.
what is false.
And this is the problem with the American church. It's a business model.
Yeah,
Right, over and over and over. We're in debt. We got to make our money. We got to make our budgets. We got to feed our staff. We've got to, whatever it is. And it's like, okay,
Well, and that's hitting the organized churches. It happened
Yes.
to the Methodist Church. That's why my dad left his, and he said,
Yep.
"No, we're going global because, hey, Methodist Church has gone completely woke, and he's got a wonderful global church that is growing, and
praise the Lord for that.
praise the Lord for that." And the Methodist Church was coming back with a vengeance on some of these people wanting to leave or wanting to buy their buildings that they had been in forever and a day. And it's the old, like in politics where they say, well, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. Well, I didn't leave the Methodist Church where the Methodist Church left me. So we're going to start a new one.
Right.
And fix this thing. Well, they did not necessarily respond in a Christian way in every,
Well, that's shocking because a woke organization can't be a Christian organization.
but
right?
it's happened to others. It's happened to Presbyterian Church. I've
Absolutely.
seen even some Lutheran churches, which
Yep.
are much more conformist than a lot of others. So, and you read about it all the time. But it gets back to the point that you were making, which is the truth's got to be there.
Yeah.
And
And
it
it's-
doesn't mean you don't be loving, right? I mean,
No. You want to be loving. You want to be all those things. But when you allow the world to creep into the church and dictate what the church is going to teach and not teach, then all of a sudden you are no different than, really, truthfully, I question, like, are you even saved at that point? Are you? Okay, so if I was on the hierarchy of the Lutheran church that was pro LGBT, right? QRS. And I was voting to say we're going to allow ceremonies in our church. We're going to allow clergy in our church to be associated with that, okay? Then you sit back and go, okay, so you're saying that what God says is wrong is right. Where is your heart and your relationship with him? Because don't you think the Holy Spirit's big enough to convict and to give you that understanding, the proper understanding? And if you're refusing to listen, is your heart not getting hardened by this? Like this whole movement of deconstruction is nothing but hard-heartedness towards the true gospel. And we do it in the name that Satan has he's wrapped it up and tied a bow around it in the name of compassion, which is Christ's attribute, not his. But he's stolen that too, because the highest form of flattery is emulation, right? That is copying. He wants to be like Christ. He wants to be God. He wants us to fail. He doesn't want us to be anything because God created us in his image, not Satan. And so he's going to do everything he can to masquerade as an angel of light, just like the word says, including pretend that everything that is compassionate is his idea. But there's nothing compassionate about letting people settle for letting people settle for less than what God has for them, right? If that makes sense, it's actually evil to not call people up and out into a life that God has set in front of them. This isn't God's best for you. And we can't say that in the church now because we'll go bankrupt. We don't want to offend people. We don't want to run them off. Do you think Jesus is afraid of us running people off in the church by telling them the truth?
No, I think that these people, they bite off on it because they take it to the core of Christ, which is love, right? That's the way they see it anyway. This is the core of all this is love. Christ loves, and love is not acceptance. That's the thing, is of evil, right? So love, you still love the person, obviously, but that doesn't mean that you let them wallow in their sin. It's no different than saying you have depression. You know what I believe is the best thing for you? Christ loves you, which is true if you're LGBT or whatever. Christ loves you. But I want you to wallow in your depression. It's the same as saying I want you to wallow in your LGBT lifestyle. And that's a struggle. I'm sure it is for those people. For whatever caused it, it is a struggle for those people.
Absolutely.
But it is not a loving position to say that we want to keep you in A, sin, and B, in something that is harmful to you.
Right. We want to keep you in God's second best.
Right.
I mean, essentially, right?
Right.
Not even second. We want to keep you from fulfilling your kingdom mandate, your kingdom assignments. We want to keep you. Who does that? Who wants to keep the believer from stepping into their full potential in Christ? Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one person that wants to do that, and that's the enemy.
But I think something that we've talked about too is the feminization is a huge piece of this, that we've become so effeminate as as the church, and it was think of the people that and I think about this, for you guys that don't know, this is really great. It gives a lot of historical references, but it's the Cultural Background Study Bible, and you can read about what was going on at the time. It gives all kinds of historical reference, and if you take yourself back in time when all that was going on, men had to be men. Women had to be tough.
Yep.
The life expectancy was short. The world was not this cushy, ooey gooey place. It's filled with difficulties and struggle. And, I was reading actually today in Romans, and it was 20. I'm going to read it real quick because it's actually really worth reading to everybody. It was, I think this was the one, 16. But it was talking about struggle, and it was talking about how struggle builds character. And I haven't memorized it. I've read it before, and I was like, why is that one never stood out to me? Oh, gosh, I'm going to have to.
Well, it's like James. James says to rejoice when we face trials, because those trials in us produce patience, which, in a sense, character. And we become more Christ-like when we don't lose our focus on Christ during our trials. And the beauty of it is you see every trial you go through, you're going to get through. And you can stand on the other side of it and look at where God did for you throughout the trial. He was with me. Throughout this, he was there. He was there. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 5, starts at 3. But and not only that, but we also boast in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not disappoint us, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit that's been given to us. Look, but we've now said in the church it's the ooey gooey, and that's why I like Mark Driscoll so much, because Mark Driscoll's not ooey gooey.
No, he's pretty raw.
He's very much
he's a man's man.
He's a man's man, mm-hmm. and that's something that's sorely missing. Is where are the tough guys? You can love the Lord and be tough. It doesn't mean that you need to be some neutered male who is ooey gooey.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we picture Jesus as being super sensitive. He was so sensitive. He cried.
He was loving, but he was probably jacked. I mean, he was, you know what I mean?
Like, no, he wept, though. He cried. Jesus, he was sensitive. No, see, he was a man. He was a man's man. And in that culture, you think about this. In that culture, they saw the bodies on the floor. I mean, every kid saw the bodies. Every kid saw the bones piled up people. Every kid saw women throwing babies over into burning garbage because they didn't want them. Every kid saw the depravity of mankind. Every kid saw death. Every kid saw suffering. Every kid knew what it was to go hungry. Every kid growing up in the time of Christ, I mean, really up until probably 100 years ago or less, saw this. I mean, Genghis Khan used to stack bodies up to walk over them over a city wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is
how many children saw Nero burning Christians?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and yet we don't want our kids to see. We want to protect them. I got to protect them from this. I got to protect. And it's like this, and it's transcended into the church because we've got a bunch of beta males in pulpits now. Come on, where we've got all these guys that are not real men. They grew up having a hover mom, went to Bible college, having a hover environment where they've never been exposed to real conflict. A hangnail is the hardest thing they've had, right? And they're going to go out and teach people about Jesus and the gospel and try to rescue a world that is, it just is insanity to me. And no wonder the gospel is feminized. No wonder it's feminized because we've got feminized people who don't know what being a man really is, right? Oh, I take responsibility for my family. Okay, that's very manly. I will give you that. But, have you ever chopped down a tree? No, but I go to the gym. Well, there's a big difference between chopping down a tree and going to the gym, isn't there?
Right. Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder because it's still austere in a lot of places. The African church is growing rapidly, like in a big kind of way.
Yeah.
And we here in America, it's the old idea that strong men make good times make weak men make bad times make strong men, and then you go through the loop. And we're definitely in the weak men make bad times sort of situation. And it's if we don't have strong men, I believe, in the church to fall back on, teaching us biblical principles.
Yeah.
Then I mean, where else are you going to get it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, we are blessed in this area, especially. We've got a lot of ag guys. We've got guys that farmed. We've got men.
I'm talking more in the urban areas. We've got plenty of them around here.
Urban areas, in particular, urban areas you're in trouble. Yeah. I mean, you're in trouble because you've got people there that never worked a day in their life, and it's only going to get worse when you've got your highest earners are on OnlyFans and YouTube and TikTok, and like these are not people that have the concept of work ethic.
Yeah. They
roll out of bed and shoot a video.
Yeah.
And they're more focused on their celebrity than they are on getting things done. And we are the same way. I can't sit on I have a hard time sitting on Saturday or Sunday. Sunday's a little easier because I'm exhausted, but Saturdays are like, I got to get out. I got to go mow. I got to go do something. I got to fix this. I got to do that. I got to, I get home from work and it's like, I want to get this done. Oh, sorry, babe. I'll be in for dinner in a minute. I got to finish this, where it's like, there's something in the man mind where you're like, I've got to keep going because they need me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other piece. Without the family, if there's no family unit there, what's the drive? If you don't have the responsibility of a wife, of kids, to get out and do things, really your motivation, it's a very, very, very selfish lifestyle. And I don't mean that to say that you are selfish. I'm just saying that your existence becomes selfish, and that should bother people. If you have a connection to the church, to Scripture, to the Bible, to God-fearing people, you see that in Christian people more than others. That here I am with people to take care of. I'm the man. I have this innate responsibility. I know that that's built into me as a man. So I'm going to go out here and I have to do it. Like I have to make something happen. Whether that means I'm going to lose sleep, I'm not going to, I'm going to sacrifice time here and there doing this, that, or the other. But at the end of the day, I have a role and a responsibility in this relationship. If it were just me living my life, everything I'm working for is me. And that's not how we're wired. It's not what we're supposed to be. Yeah. You've got kids.
Yeah.
And you've got a wife.
Yep.
And you get out there and you bust your backside every single day. That's innately built into you. And instead we're saying, no, wait a long time to get married. Don't have kids because kids are, the abortion movement has said they're a parasite. So here a woman thinks she's going to have a parasite growing inside of her body and to think that men want this, boss lady sort of, thing. No, that's not what we want. It's done out of necessity now, which is what the left and the political side of this has forced us to do, which is create an environment where men and women both have to work.
Yep.
So that they can raise the kids for you as the government.
Yep.
But that's not what it's supposed to be.
I'm going to speak to that for just a minute because I do firmly believe that that's also a choice. And people, that's not a choice. We have to. No, you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to. And I'm living proof you don't have to.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah.
What you have to do is re-examine your life and what's important. That's what you have to do. You have to stop and re-examine your life and go, is this really that important that I'm willing to sacrifice my time with my kids or my wife's time with our kids? Is it really that important? Is this car that important? Is this house that important? Is this, and so when you say, and people, oh, you can say that because the house you live in. No, we didn't always live in the house we live in. Mm-hmm. We were paying rent just like everybody else. It's almost like where your treasure is, there's your heart. Huh? Isn't that something?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you striving for? Because here's the thing. There's so many people that I know that are striving for a better life, that are striving for more so that they can take that week's vacation, okay, with their family and not work 2 weeks, whatever it is that they have in the summer with their family. We get to spend quality time together. Well, you can have that 2 weeks. I'm going to take my daily quality time. I'm going to take you know what I mean? I'm going to have my wife home with them. That's quality time right there. So it's all in what your perspective is and what's important to you. And you got to weigh that out for yourself, but it is.
I was going to say too, that's setting an example, and it's an example that's sorely needed with young people in this world. That I know this from my dad. My dad he was third generation small business owner. My great grandfather started the business selling threshing machines, turned it into a tractor dealership. He wound up losing it eventually, and that's a whole nother story. It transformed his life, and I would actually say in a positive way. Mm-hmm. But I saw him getting up early at the crack of dawn every morning. He would come home smelling like diesel fumes and grease. He had permanently stained hands that were like in the crevices in his fingertips and in all the wrinkles of his hands. He
never come off.
The grease never came out. He'd sit there with Gojo, and he couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
And I watched him do that, and as a kid, I thought, Dad forgot me today. Like I was at school, I'd be at school, and I'd come out, and Dad wasn't there, and it was because Dad got hit with a customer after another person after another person, and so I'd get on the phone and I'd call my great aunt, who was like a grandmother to me, like another grandmother to me, and I would say, Ida, will you come pick me up? And she'd say, absolutely, honey. She'd come pick him up, and she said, honey, your daddy just got busy, and I used to take offense to that as a kid. As I've become an adult and had a business of my own, I'm like, I get it. I know exactly why he's doing that, because when I, when I needed food, when I needed clothes, when I needed whatever it was
there.
It was there because my dad was absolutely breaking his back to work for the family. And so I respect that more than I miss, because I had plenty of time with him. He'd pick me up on a Saturday morning and we'd go out and do service calls on tractors or, out in the hay fields and all that stuff. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying that the example that it set has driven my work ethic today. And it makes me, for lack of a better term, strive to be like him and to work as hard as he did, and still does. He's 75 years old and he's working 7 days a week. He's a preacher, and he's also got digging footers for houses and all that stuff.
Sure. It doesn't, and it doesn't stop. And I think there's part of it where you especially for land guys, guys that work the earth, guys that, there's this like, first of all, we're the only ones that are going to be left working in 10 years, right? Because she's taken over.
Yeah.
Right. These people don't go to school to be a lawyer. Don't go to school to be a computer programmer. Don't go to school to do anything. Because anything that can be replaced by AI is going to be replaced by AI. Be a dirt worker. Be something that...
Electrician or a plumber.
Yep. Be something in the trades that this thing can't do. And here's the thing. Do it now, because that market's going to be flooded, because these people are going to be all out looking for work. Mm-hmm. Or they're going to be basically on the basic income, government income, right?
UBI, universal basic.
They're going to have to do something there. So, Boy, time. We got 4 minutes. What else do we got? Anything?
Let's see. We got what else we got?
Oh, the cartoon image is great. We can pull that up. That's fun to talk about.
This one.
Yeah, that was fun. Love it. California is just a mess, man, right now. Gavin Newsom is poking the bear, pretending like the bear is poking him, right? Like, you've seen this, like the statements that he's making are like, are you kidding? You're the governor of California. And barely, I mean, remember that this term, they had a vote to get him out.
Mm-hmm.
Did
they? Was that this term?
Yeah, they had. I mean, wasn't it? Yes.
I can't remember. Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're like, they're not happy. Californians are not pleased with him.
There's a sheriff, by the way, that says he's running for governor against Gavin Newsom,
Mm-hmm.
and he says that in the first, I forget how much time it is. He said in the first X number of months, I will drop $2 off the price of gas, because California, which I didn't even know this, I've never even thought of California as an oil state because it's California and they hate oil. But his claim was that California has larger oil reserves than Texas does. I wonder if Aria is still listening, and we could ask her. Where is she? Here she is. Hey, Aria, is it true that California has greater oil reserves than Texas?
Hey, good to jump in. That sheriff running against Gavin Newsom is making a bold claim, but let's break it down. As of 2023, Texas has way more proved crude oil reserves than California, over 20.1 billion barrels, mostly from the Eagle Ford and Permian Basin, compared to California's 1.716 billion barrels, per the U.S. Energy Information Administration. California's reserves are significant, ranking it 5th in the U.S., but they're nowhere near Texas's league, which is the top oil-producing state. Some estimates, like a 2014 study by petroleum geologist Tim Considine, suggest California could have up to 30 billion barrels in total reserves, including unproven ones, especially offshore and in the San Joaquin Valley.
Wow.
But Texas's total recoverable reserves, including shale plays, are estimated at over 60 billion barrels.
Wow.
So, no, California doesn't have greater reserves than Texas based on current data. The sheriff might be making things up to push local production.
Okay, but
that is still like,
they could do a lot better.
yeah.
I mean, that's the point. They could do a lot better. And they might not have as much as Texas. I wonder what the top, don't ask her because I can't, but Oklahoma, probably. Texas, Oklahoma, maybe Colorado. Colorado's got oil. I don't know that they have as much, like, they said they're 5th in the nation. Alaska.
Oh, Alaska's got bukus of it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Alaska.
Alaska's the one. Well, and we've got enough oil to. This is the thing. People. This whole fossil fuel thing.
Yeah.
This is not a 4-minute rabbit hole that we're getting ready to get into, but this whole fossil fuel idea, it doesn't jive. They've talked about finding fossil fuels, or basically like using reflecting off the. I forget what, Saturn's moons or something like that they found petroleum.
Yeah.
Or remnants of petroleum.
Yeah.
And the question is, if it's organic matter, how does one of the moons of Saturn have petroleum? That sort of thing.
Well, dinosaurs were there, apparently.
Apparently.
So
that it's not, it's actually something that is created by the earth. It's not something that is part of organic matter that's finite.
No.
Because if you have something that's infinite or that is near infinite, then it's nothing that can be leveraged. And gas should cost us 10 cents a gallon.
Yep.
Even today.
Yep. But they make up the argument, make up the narrative that we're running out. So it's going to cost money.
Yeah.
Just like everything else. It's just like everything else. We've got so much coming too. We talked last week about 2025. All the cults and all these different, 2025 is a significant year for so many different things, and different organizations, different whatever religions, I guess. And then, we also talked about this a couple weeks ago, the asteroid hurling towards Earth, which more and more is coming out about this thing. more and more about like this isn't actually traveling like a normal asteroid travels at all. And there's more and more scientists that are jumping on this bandwagon of maybe this is intelligent. Maybe this is something that we need to look at. And
I don't buy it. I don't.
I look at it and go, I don't buy it either, but I do. There's a part of me that says, you know, I don't think that's true. However, it would be just like the government or the enemy to make this something that it's not going to be, because there's got to be a rational explanation for why millions and millions of people disappear. There's got to be.
I mean, yeah, that I believe. Do I think it's this thing? I mean, I guess I see your point that you create skepticism wherever you can. You create intrigue and all that.
Whether it's this thing or the next thing.
But if you're trying to deceive people when millions and millions of people disappear, I guess it could be done, you know, let's say subconsciously, done through evil influence and all of that. But it wouldn't be those people knowing that that's going to happen, and this is why they're hyping it. Because if you knew that was the case and that millions of people were just going to disappear, then you would want to be one of those millions of people who disappeared.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like they're planning it.
Right. It's not like
this isn't the nefarious play.
Right.
But I do believe that it's the enemy
Yeah.
who is setting it up, because and he doesn't know when it's going to happen either. Right. But there's got to be a reason. And I think he's starting to panic because there's so many signs and things that are lining up, that have been lining up since Israel became a nation, right? That was the fuse that was lit to the end times. And he sees it and goes, okay, we got to be running out of time here. So let's get something that they can swallow, because I don't want people believing in Jesus, even though they're going to see him. Even though they're going to see him, I want them to think that that's Project Bluebeam. I want them to think that that's something else, right? So it's got to start. We've got to have this thing ramp up, where people can be so easily deceived into believing that whatever happens is anything but Jesus and what it really is going to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah, the people that are saying this, I don't believe are nefarious and, you know some inside scoop. I think they're saying it because they're believing what they're saying. Like, this is actually something different. This could be something. Heard somebody the other day, a woman who is a clairvoyant.
Oh.
Yeah,
They're legitimate.
Listen, they're very trustworthy.
there's a funny skit on I think it was 30 Rock, where was it 30 Rock? Oh,
I loved that show.
it was so great.
I loved that show.
Where no, it was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where she said, I don't know, my psychic told me this, and her daughter says, Mom, I've told you, stop going to that lady. She's a con artist. You need to see my psychic.
You need to see my psychic. Yeah. Oh, anyway, she was saying she did remote viewing, and this thing appeared to have intelligent life on it. But they're not here to do nefarious things. They're just on a scouting mission. They're just going to be, and it's like, okay, but here's the beauty of it. 11 million people saw that. And the more that kind of thing gets put out there, the more they believe it, the more they're like, okay, well, let's, this thing might be something. It might, and it's like, okay, if it is, if it isn't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's got to be an explanation eventually when we're called home. There's got to be a reason it happened. And the only thing that they're going to be able to be like, well, it was our alien ancestors or whatever, So that's what I believe. That's what I believe, is that you're going to see more and more rhetoric about it. You're going to see more and more visitations, more and more, of this thing, because there has to be a reason why, when we're gone, there has to be a reason why we're gone. And the reason is we were taken. That simple. By them. Not by him, but by them. So that's what I believe.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's a heck of a way to close out, isn't it?
That's a heck of a way to close. Yeah, we're way over time.
We are. I got to make it in time to get some Fruity Pebbles. So We never want to close out a broadcast without giving you guys the inside scoop on what will change your life. And for me, for Jared, Christ is everything. He has changed my life. And without him, man, it's so empty. And I know that there's like, we say that there's a hole in my heart that can only be filled by you. Remember that? I think it was a In Excess song. Or, no, it wasn't In Excess. Who sang that? Oh, come on.
In Sync? I don't know.
No. It was, yeah. I'm going to get it.
I have no
I'm
idea.
going to get it at the end. I'll get it like just as we're shutting down. Extreme. Maybe it was Extreme. But it's true. If you're searching, and so many people, if you don't know Christ, there's something about this life, something about your life that is empty. And you've tried to fill it with everything: boats, bass fishing, alcohol, women, whatever it is. It's not working. And it's because what you're searching for is Christ, even though you don't realize it. The Bible says it: before he formed you in your mother's womb, he knew you. And I firmly believe that the fact that you've been in his presence before, your entire life, you're going to seek that feeling, that you're going to seek that peace that you had when you were with the Father. And the only way that you can be with the Father is through the Son, Jesus. And I just want to encourage you, man, if you're that person that just needs something, pick up a Bible, read the book of John. It's a great book. It's the Gospel of John. Or if you get to the other Johns, they're just as good because there's 1st and 2nd John. But read that story. Read that account, which is history. See if Jesus doesn't fill the void. Talk to people that believe in Jesus. Ask them about their walk with Christ. Friend, it'll be the best decision you've ever made. I promise. Until next week, keep your eyes on the prize and to the skies, because our King is returning. Jesus said he's returning, and I believe he's returning. It's braver than the rest. If you have anything you'd like to add to the show, obviously comments are always welcome. We really love that. If you'd like to be on air, you can drop us a line. If you'd like to just have us discuss something, you can email us at thebraverthantherest@gmail.com. Again, thebraverthantherest@gmail.com.
But we prefer you leave comments.
Yes.
And hit the like button, subscribe button.
Yes.
You always forget that. You're like, email me. And I'm like, no.
No.
Make
Like
comments.
and subscribe, make comments. Yeah.
It helps the algorithm.
Also, Continued Freedom. If you are not a watcher of Continued Freedom, watch Continue. It's fantastic. Jared does a great job. And I'm going to tell you, it's difficult because he does it by himself. He's in this room talking to himself.
Yeah, that's hard.
And you do a good job, though.
Yeah, I try to hit topics quick. I go through it. I try to do about 30, 45. Sometimes I do an hour, but usually 30, 45
much
minutes.
shorter.
Make it digestible. And here's my opinion. And then we roll on.
Yeah. Which is so good. It's so good. The last couple have been like, yes, so good. So again, braver than the rest. We love you. God bless you.